Yeah.
About that.
It's showtime.
Welcome to the YATCast. This episode is about our first right. But first, I'd like to give my thanks to all my real life and social media friends who forced me to delve deeper into things to find the underlying cause. They forced me to determine why things are or are not. They forced me to think about things in a way to determine what could be or what cannot be. So, let's get started. Words are wonderful things. Did you know they have meanings? Of course you did. Did you know that most have more than one meaning? I'm sure that would be a yes. Did you know that the meaning of words can and will change over time? You probably did, but haven't thought about it. When you look up the definition of a word in the dictionary, the most recent definition is listed first. As you read down through the list of definitions, they are used less and less. At a certain point, a definition will drop off if it is very rarely used. Generally speaking, you would be looking at meanings of words in a bygone era. A trip into history, so to speak. For example, let's look at the words socialism and society. Let's start with socialism. The first definition is any of various economic and political theories advocating collective or governmental ownership and administration of the means of production and distribution of goods. The second definition is a system of society or group living in which there is no private property. A third definition would be a stage of society in Marxist theory, translational between capitalism and communism, and distinguished by unequal distribution of goods and pay according to work done. Now, for society. The first definition is companionship or association with one's fellows, friendly or intimate intercourse, company. A second definition would be a voluntary association of individuals for common ends, especially an organized group working together or periodically meeting because of common interests, beliefs, or profession. A third definition would be a community, nation, or broad grouping of people having common traditions, institutions, and collective activities and interests. In these two examples, the first definition is the most recent, most used definition. The second definition is a bit older and a bit less used. The third is older still and used even a little less. Now, did you know there's a field of study that traces a word back to its earliest known usage? It is called etymology. It is the study of the history of words, and it quite often will cross language groups. Now, back to our two examples, socialism and society. Socialism traces its roots back to Old French social, and social traces back to Old Latin socius. I had to do two searches to follow this one. Why they broke into two different searches, I don't know. Possibly, it is because most people don't want to go back into ancient history. Now, society traces its roots back to socius as well. Socius means companion or friend. Oddly enough, I lost a social media friend over the etymology of these particular words. Now, remember from earlier episodes, I said that our founding fathers said what they meant and meant what they said. In just a few cases, they used a few words that could be defined in a couple of ways. They could have used other words, but chose the word they did because they looked to the future and gave generations unborn the opportunity to use a definition that was not being used in the general verbiage at the time. Now, our first right. Our first right is all men are created equal. In other words, equality is our first right. All of our other rights stem from this simple but elegant declaration. For without equality, a fair and just society cannot exist. I lost another social media friend over this phrase and the definition of men. Men is the plural for man. If we look at the etymology of man, we find similar words in Old English, Dutch, German, and, Sanskrit. Sanskrit wasn't deciphered until about 80 years after our Declaration of Independence. The Sanskrit word is manu, which means mankind. Man today is defined as follows: an adult human male. That's the first definition. Similar words would be male, adult male, gentleman, youth, guy, fellow, geezer, gent, and a host of others. Some of these are more modern, but you can see a whole host of options they could have used, but didn't. The second definition today is a human being of either sex, a person. Synonyms would be human being, person, human, mortal, individual, personage, soul. Webster's Dictionary of 1828, it's online, look it up. The second definition of men as persons, people, mankind. Notice the word mankind. The first definition is males of bravery, which in our documents, founding documents, would not really apply. Now, Webster's Dictionary of 1828 defines, in the first definition, mankind as the human race, the whole species of human beings, being distinguished from all other animals by the powers of reason and speech, as well as by their shape and dignified aspect. This, the human race, would be what our founders meant by the word men. Not rich men, not white men, not royalty, not businessmen, not the church or mosque or temple, but humans. So, our first right, all men are created equal, applies to everyone. Understanding this, no one can be denied the rights of any other citizen. This means that the Voting Rights Act, women's suffrage, the Equal Rights Amendment, and other amendments, and Supreme Court decisions are all non sequitur. They are irrelevant. Congress did not need to do these amendments. The Supreme Court cannot rule otherwise in any case where rights are granted to some but not others. The phrase, "we the people," in the Constitution reaffirms, extends, and strengthens our first right. All men are created equal. Thank you for spending some time with me, and I'll see you at the next YATCast. Are you enjoying the YATCast? Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/YATCast. That's https://www.patreon.com/YATCast.